Welcome to TV Shopper, your number one TV magazine.
Welcome to Movie Review, the best place for the best movie reviews. Here are the movies that topped the movie box office for the month of January 2017.
The vampire and Lycan clans had been at war for centuries, turning our world into a battlefield. For me, the fight is personal. Everyone I've ever loved has been hunted down. Now a new war is being waged.
Selene, the Lycans are moving again. They have a new leader, Marius.
I'm finished with this war.
Well, it's not finished with you. He wants the blood of you and your daughter.
Even I don't know where she is. I need you to deliver a message. Tell your Marius I'm coming for him. Do you understand your message?
We need Selene to end the war. She cannot be trusted. She is the purest of us all.
She is the key to the futures of Lycans and vampires.
And when we have the blood of Selene and her daughter,
We will be invincible.
I will be more powerful than any vampire in this coven.
you must help me protect her. You must go north. You will find answers there.
If you want to win this war, you will need to go further than even a warrior of your renown has ever ventured before.
Impossible.
There's nothing stopping her now. There are too many of them.
Do I look worried?
All I want is your blood.
Come and get it.
Underworld, Blood Wars, January 6. Kate Beckinsale continues to prove that no one looks better slaying monsters while decked out in a black latex suit in this, the 5th chapter in a long-running franchise, and fourth starring the actress about the war between vampires and werewolves. Kate Beckinsale returns as the vampire death dealer, Selene, in the 5th installment of the action horror franchise. Watching the 5th installment of the Underworld action horror franchise, one question inevitably springs to mind. After all this time, can't werewolves and vampires just get along? Apparently not, despite the best efforts of the characters in a thankfully now defunct Twilight series. Strictly for rabid fans, Underworld, Blood Wars is a generic, by-the-numbers genre exercise that, for all its talk of blood, is strictly anemic. It's particularly depressing to see Kate Beckinsale once again don her tight black spandex outfit after displaying her versatility and comic skills in love and friendship. Yet here she's again, after all bills must be paid, starring as the vampire death dealer, Selene, who is in more trouble than ever. She is now forced to battle both the Lycans, headed by the foursome Marius, Tobias Menzies, and a fellow vampire, Samira Lara Pulver, whose villainy is in direct proportion to the amount of cleavage she bears. And she bears a lot. In an example of her badass style, she tells her eager to please underling Bradley James, there are other ways to prove your devotion, before pushing his head down to service her orally. It's like someone saying, "Okay, King Lear, go 3 days," says Beckinsale of Love and Friendship's short shoot. The film begins with Beckinsale narrating a recap of the previous films, complete with flashbacks, which is very helpful because even if you've seen them all, you're likely to have forgotten everything about them. After that opening, it's only mere seconds before the first of many fight sequences staged in efficient fashion by director Anna Forrester, Outlander, who, despite being new to the series, doesn't bring any fresh ideas to the table. Celine's vampire ally, David, is injured in the course of the battle, which handily provides the opportunity for hunky actor Theo James to take up his shirt. But not to worry, it's not so serious an injury that Celine can't fix him up with some quick impromptu surgery. The plot, such as it is, revolves around Marius' desperate efforts to find Celine's daughter, who she banished for her own safety in the last film. Again, this is where that recap comes in handy. Apparently, he's convinced that her hybrid vampire-like blood will make him immortal. During their climatic showdown, Marius assures Celine that he won't kill her daughter. "All I want is her blood," he says, which under the circumstances actually sounds pretty reasonable. By the time the film reaches its conclusion after a mercifully brief 91 minutes, fangs have been bared, the Lycans have had a bad hair day, characters have been killed, and in some cases brought back to life. And rather incongruously, a lot of automatic weaponry has been fired. The action is nearly relentless, only occasionally interrupted by humorless, tedious exposition, but despite the freneticism, it's almost all completely boring. That is, when you can see it, since even in the non-3D presentation, the proceedings are so dark and murky that you feel compelled to whip on non-existent sunglasses off your face. Beckinsale still provides a commanding presence, handling the intense physicality of her role with an ease born of countless pilot classes. Charles Dance also returns for his installment, continuing the long-standing cinematic tradition of distinguished British thespians appearing in Hollywood crap in lieu of receiving a proper pension.
Our esteemed guest Celine will play the role of Death Dealer, bravely defending our fortress. I will take the role of Lycan villain, here to destroy it. Ladies first. Impressive.
Hey.
I haven't seen you in your uniform for a while.
Yeah, that was on purpose.
Kind of turns me on.
There he is, General Patton in a neon vest. Wow.
They say 500,000 people watch the Boston Marathon here in New England.
Oh! Baby.
Hey, you behaving yourself?
Delta 984, we got multiple explosions. We need help down here. we've got to decide who's running this, and we have to decide quickly.
It's terrorism. We'll take it.
And let's get an evidence grid started right over there.
Clock is ticking. The world is watching.
The suspect seen on the surveillance cameras. 2 bombers.
We gotta find these guys before they do this to someone else.
We can't have our citizens on the streets with all these threats. Every inch of this city is getting searched. We're shutting it down.
A taxi picked up a guy matching White Hat's description. Could be he's on his way to New York.
Are there more bombs? Are there more bombs?
I want a lawyer.
No.
No, I have rights.
You ain't got shit, sweetheart.
What I saw today, good versus evil, love versus hate. There's only one weapon you have to fight back with. It's love. We wrap our arms around each other. I don't think there's any way that they could ever win.
Patriots Day, January 13 in wide release. Mark Wahlberg finds himself at the center of the hunt for the Boston Marathon bombing culprit in this based on recent events thriller from director Peter Berg, who just teamed up with Wahlberg on Deepwater Horizon. With a title like Patriots Day, you'd be forgiven for thinking the new Mark Wahlberg movie is going to be a nauseating flag-waving exercise in American exceptionalism. It's more of an exercise in Boston exceptionalism, which is much more palatable. After all, Boston is a pretty cool city filled with those quaint, sports-mad, progressive New Englanders who pronounce about and chowder oddly. All jokes aside, that Boston strong attitude comes across clearly in Patriots Day, a retelling of the 2013 Boston Marathon bombing and its aftermath that killed 5 people and injured hundreds. Patriots Day is the second film director Peter Berg has released in a year about a recent American tragedy. The other, Deepwater Horizon, also starred Wahlberg in the lead role and was similarly a surprisingly solid thriller. Starting from the night before, following a throughout attack and ensuing manhunt in the days following, Patriots Day paints a compelling picture of a city in crisis. Berg has definitely captured the shock and the mania from such an horrifying event, the sense of violation and the defiance that inspires. There are some genuinely effective moments in the film, including image of a lone policeman standing guard over the body of a young child killed by the blast. And the massive investigative operation that springs up in the aftermath. The sheer volume of people scouring through endless hours of CCTV and mobile videos explains how law enforcement got from square one to the Tsarnaev brothers with relative speed. There are some pacing issues where Patriots Day lags just past the midpoint, and the film certainly could have been tighter than its 2 hours and 15 minutes running time. But when it works, such as the chaotic shootout between the Tsarnaevs and the police on a residential street in Watertown, it's gripping. Charting the experiences of characters based on real-life people, including Boston Police Commissioner Ed Davis, played by John Goodman, FBI agent Rick Deslouris, played by Kevin Bacon, Watertown cop Jeffrey Puglis, by J.K. Simmons, the driver carjacked and kidnapped by the Tsarnaevs, Don Meng, played by Jimmy O. Yang, and husband and wife marathon spectators Patrick Downers, Patrick O'Shea, and Jessica Kensky, Rachel Brosnahan. Patriots Day has an authentic spirit to its endeavor, making judicious use of handheld close-ups. Berg attempted to recreate the terrible event in almost documentary style to varying degrees of success, but it's let down by Berg's attempts to mix fiction with fact. Wahlberg's character, experienced but forthright cop Tommy Saunders, is a fictional character said to be a composite of different Boston police officers. Wahlberg's character functions as the emotional center of the film and is given some heavy lifting with a couple of dramatic monologues, but it rings hollow among a cast based on real people, losing a sense of security. Similarly, Berg fails to strike the right balance when slicing in real footage of the bomb blast and the Sarnaps. Soka, Alex Wolff, and Tamerlan Sarnaev, Simo Blikidze are featured throughout the film, but when now famous images and video of the real-life brothers are used in universe of the film, in contrast to the actors portraying them, it has a jarring effect. It takes you out of the film and borders on having the dubious side effect of making it seem too recreation-y, a little too America's Most Wanted. By the time Patriots Day real-life counterparts show up on screen right before the end credits, it starts to feel a little heavy-handed. It's understandable why Berg has done it. He clearly wanted to make a respectful ode to Boston and the Bostonians whose lives were upended that day in April 2013. But Patriots Day isn't really interested in where the attack sits in the wider geopolitical environment or why men like the Sarnaps are radicalized in the first place. For the most part, that's fine. There was plenty of coverage that delved into those deeper issues around the time of the attack, not 4 years ago, and those talking points are even more relevant today. Its ambition to function as a love story to Boston, and in that, it's done its job.
Maybe it's true. We all find ourselves in lives we didn't expect. But what I learned was, powerful men don't have to be cruel. I got one guaranteed life. I was gonna live it. I had a plan.
You said you would fall apart until the end.
Do you think that we got where we are by letting some inbreds muscle us?
If that's who you think we are, you're making a fatal miscalculation. We're clerks and bankers and police officers, and we even got a judge. And if you're dumb enough to fight us, I'm gonna rain bloody hellfire down on you and all you love.
So you're threatening me with people who are more powerful than you?
Exactly.
So what am I talking to you for?
We're all going to hell.
How you doing? Look at you. Look at you.
Hey, sorry about your brother.
Yeah, so it was your brother.
Thank you. Hey, thank you. Listen, when Lefty Downer found me in Montreal and told me the Pescatores wanted me to come work for them, I thought it was a straight bamboozle. Then I thought, if anyone could charm the devil, it's my old partner. Look at this. Would you look at this? Here, after you.
Get out of here.
I work for you now. Boss Joe Coughlin. Reach under the seat and you'll find a friend.
Live by Night. January 13 in wide release. For his directorial follow-up to Best Picture winner Argo, Ben Affleck assumes the guise of a gangster trying to rise up the criminal ladder in the period piece underworld drama. Some mediocre movies just don't make sense. You can never understand why they went into production in the first place. The script was clearly a mess. When someone bought it, it was never going to be profitable, and no one involved had the skill to pull it off. Why did they even bother? Live by Night makes total sense. On paper, it seems like a can't-fail proposition. Not only is director Ben Affleck coming off a Best Picture Oscar for his last directorial effort, Argo, but he started his already impressive directorial career with an adaptation of a novel by the same author of the source material, Dennis Lehane, who not only penned Gone Baby Gone, but Mystic River, Shutter Island, and others. The cast is talented from top to bottom, including Oscar winners and charismatic actresses to play opposite Affleck. The sprawling gangster story was given more than enough budget to pull it off, and even landed a release date that typically coincides with the awards attention. So, the key question behind Live by Night isn't so much, why did they bother, as what went wrong? Live by Night is a story of the rise of a relatively low-level mobster named Joe Coughlin. During Prohibition, sorta kinda, we'll get to how this epic story on the page lacked an interesting enough protagonist for the screen later. For now, know that Coughlin is on the rise in Boston, aided a bit by his godfather, Brendan Gleeson, great even in what amounts to basically a one-scene role, and in love with local mob boss Albert White's Robert Glenister, daughter Emma, played by Sienna Miller. After ripping off a few poker games, Joe decides he's going to rob a bank and run away with Emma, but Albert got wind of it and double-crosses poor Joe, nearly killing him. Coughlin runs to Florida, but is not done with the criminal underworld. In fact, he's reporting back to white Italian nemesis Messo Pescatore, Remo Girone, and essentially building an empire in Ybor, where he has taken over the rum trade. In doing so, he meets a girl named Graciela. Zoe Saldana does a lot with a little, and comes to a gentleman's agreement with local lawman chief figures, played by Chris Cooper, who lets him do what he wants to do as long as he stays in the right geographical boundaries.
Let's go. What are you doing? Stop. Look out!
A squad car got a call. Sedan speeding near Old Downtown. Officers reported shots fired. They found bodies everywhere.
Oh, we'll take that. Me and Cass.
This city is crawling with dirty cops.
Ladies and gentlemen, Nevada's finest.
Looking for this?
Vincent Downs, homicide.
Jennifer Bryant. We're internal affairs.
Big bad policewoman. I like that.
Drop him off by 9 p.m.
Dad, when are you moving home?
Son, I love you. There's just some things I can't explain. You just have to trust me.
Vincent Downs, you stole something from me. Bring it back or your son's not coming home.
They said it was just gonna be an easy grab. Well, it ain't no easy grab. They got teeth.
What is going on?
They have our son.
Find him.
We've got a problem.
I got enemies, got a lot of enemies, got a lot of people trying to drain me of my energy.
Whatever you're aiming at, make sure you're prepared to kill it. I've been working undercover for 2 years.
He knows the players. He knows their methods.
I will pay every cop on your payroll to see Vincent Downs dead.
I got enemies. I got enemies. Got a lot of enemies. Got a lot of people trying to drain me of my energy.
You touch my son, I'll kill you.
Sleepless, January 13. A remake of the 2011 French thriller Sleepless Night, this genre effort stars Jamie Foxx and T.I. as corrupt Las Vegas police officers trying to rescue one of their kidnapped sons. Sleepless is one of those movies that needed to be a lot better or a lot worse to make much of an impression. This story of a Las Vegas police officer trying to recover his kidnapped son from bad guys is frustratingly not terrible. The action sequences, the characterization, the performances all could have come together to form a dandy example of what used to be called a B-movie. A B-movie is a genre film that doesn't have much money to play with but compensates with ingenuity and style. And yet, Sleepless somehow quite never gets to that level. Its rare moments of quality only make the rest of the movie a mishmash of conspiratorial plotting and close quarters fistfights and gunfights seem lamer. As directed by Barabo Odar, 2010's The Silence, and scripted by World Trade Center writer Andrei Berloff. This remake of the 2011 French film Sleepless Night is funny sometimes, but not funny enough, exciting sometimes, but never exciting enough, and inherently emotional, mainly due to the hero's anguished desire to save his son, yet never willing to run with the emotionalism and turn into a full-blown action melodrama. Sticking closely to the French original, Sleepless starts in the middle of a car chase with Las Vegas police detective Vincent Downs, Jamie Foxx, and his partner Sean Cass, T.I. stealing a massive shipment of cocaine from drug dealers working for local crime boss Rob Novak, Scoot McNairy, who supplies a local hotel and casino owner named Stanley Rubino, Demel Mulroney, with party favors for his high-rolling guests. The bad guys kidnap Vincent's son, Thomas Octavius J. Johnson, to get the drugs back. The rest of the movie unfolds an intimate, somewhat contained Die Hard variant, with Vincent sneaking around the grounds of the hotel and casino trying to save his son. The more immediate task of preventing his son's death becomes a stand-in for the repair work he needs to do in his own household. Vincent is divorced from his wife Dina, Gabrielle Union, and on poor terms with Thomas due to his immersion in his job and the theme of repairing frayed family bonds is never far from the movie's mind. There are also knotty complications involving the drugs that require Vincent to improvise further, and his already tense predicament is made worse by a stab wound he sustained during the opening action sequence.